All right, as you can see, we're not out there. We are in here in the studio. I'm going to do a review of the 4 cameras I've been using to make my YouTube videos. First, I'm going to go through just the cameras, identify the cameras. This is the Insta360 Go 2. This is the smallest one, as you can see. It's just this part. You take this with you. This is the only waterproof part. So obviously very lightweight, but with that comes a lower battery life. Next comes the smaller GoPro. This is the smallest camera that I've been able to find that's a classic action camera form factor. That's why I picked this up. They were about $200 and it was light, and I was worried about the weight of a full-size action camera. This thing has some major drawbacks that I'll cover later, and a few positives to say about this one. The next one I got was this one. This was another very small camera. This is the DJI Osmo Action 2. This is obviously a very small form factor camera. It does have a screen on the back. It's pretty much just a lens and a screen and one button right there. This one's pretty lightweight as well. But what comes with the smaller package, of course, is lower battery life. This is the most recent camera. This is the GoPro Hero 11 Mini. A lot more features here, a lot more battery life, but a lot more weight. I'm going to use 6 criteria for this review. Those are ease of use in the water, battery life, audio quality, file transfer process, stabilization, and features. First up, ease of use in the water, probably the most important. They are all light enough, though the GoPro Hero 11 Mini is definitely the heaviest, and they all will connect to the GoPro bike mount and board mount, though the Insta360 and DJI cameras require an extra piece to do so. Also, with the Insta360, you can use a magnetic pendant to mount it to your chest pretty inconspicuously. So if you're looking for something a little less conspicuous than a bike mount, then the Insta360 can give you some comfort on that. None are heavy enough to affect the balance of a longboard, so that's not a worry. 2 of the cameras, the GoPro Hero 11 Mini and the Insta360 Go 2, don't have screens, just buttons, so that definitely makes things simpler in the water. Because the difference here is mainly the screen lock issue on the ones that do have screens. The screen lock on the DJI isn't good enough. I found myself unlocking that one accidentally. I don't know if it's my chin touching it or the water doing it, but it's too easy to unlock. With the battery life of that camera, I try to save it by turning it off each time, and I'm not sure, but I think when you turn it back on, the screen lock might just be off. So that might be the problem. But either way, it's an issue. I'll discuss battery life later. The GoPro Hero 4K is much better and is unlikely to unlock when you don't want it to. The GoPro Hero 11 Mini and Go 2 don't have screens, so that's not an issue. So those 2 went out on ease of use in the water. None of these cameras have modular replaceable batteries like the full-size action cameras. But that's not really relevant to me because I'm not going to be changing batteries out in the water. So they're all a tie on the issue of replaceable batteries. However, battery life itself is drastically different between these cameras. The Insta360 Go 2 is tiny and the battery life is the worst. It's not even close to good enough. This camera is good for getting started if you want something you can mount to your chest that is a little less conspicuous than a bike mount, but that's about it. The battery life on the DJI is much better than the Go 2, but not quite good enough. I'm always constrained by the battery life when I use that one. The 2 GoPros have enough battery life that if you're filming surfing videos like I do, the battery life is never going to restrict you. It's just unlikely you're going to be setting up for that long of a surf session. Moving to audio, I feel the DJI Osmo Action 2 has the best audio quality just from using it. Here's a quick audio test from inside the house. With each camera's audio, I'm rotating between the 4 cameras now, so this is what they each sound like. I'm rotating between the 4 cameras now, so this is what they each sound like. I'm rotating between the 4 cameras now, so this is what they each sound like. I'm rotating between the 4 cameras now, so this is what they each sound like. So as you heard there's a difference in the audio quality for sure, even inside. Also, the GoPro Hero 4K, the little one, is not too good when I'm out in the water, with the wind and everything. The Insta360 Go 2 does okay, better than I thought it would for being so tiny. The GoPro Hero 11 Mini is pretty standard, I guess, but the standout on audio quality is the DJI. I've been impressed with its audio quality out in the water and in the wind. The DJI is the winner on real-world audio quality. And for file transfer, this is not really about surfing, it's just about the cameras themselves. So kind of a general characteristic of the cameras. This probably wouldn't have been one of my criteria if not for one of these being so bad at file transfer. The 2 GoPro cameras use micro SD cards. The others only use built-in storage. Now you could transfer to a micro SD card with the DJI, but it's complicated and requires the battery and storage model to do it. So that adds an extra step. But here the GoPro Hero 4K really lets you down. You have to use the GoPro app to stabilize because there's no in-camera stabilization. So you have to get the clips into the app, stabilize them by opening each file in the app, then transfer each clip from the app to your phone, then transfer from your phone to your computer for editing. unless you want to edit in the GoPro app, which I don't. This is further complicated by the fact that transferring often reduces the quality unless you transfer the clips one by one, because only then can you choose 4K as the transfer quality. If you transfer multiple files at once, it pre-chooses 1080p for you. It's all around annoying. That's the GoPro Hero 4K from 2024, the small one. Its file transfer is terrible. The file transfer on the others is straightforward. The GoPro Hero 11 Mini uses a micro SD card slot, so that's simple and you can plug the other two into your computer with USB-C cables and transfer that way, which you can do with the GoPro Hero 4K, but the videos won't be stabilized. See my next point on stabilization. The GoPro Hero 4K loses in this category big time. On stabilization quality, they're all good enough. I'm not a camera guy, so I can't go into detail on the stabilization. They all make usable videos. However, the GoPro Hero 4K again lets you down, because the stabilization only happens within the app. There is no in-camera stabilization. This creates extra steps in the file transfer process that I just talked about. If there were a desktop version of the GoPro app, then you could use that to stabilize, but they stopped supporting the desktop app. On stabilization, the three other cameras are tied, but the GoPro Hero 4K loses big time. On features, the clear winner is the GoPro Hero 11 Mini. It's nearly a fully spec'd GoPro 11, but without a few things and without the screens. Second place is the DJI Osmo Action 2. Third place is interesting, because surely it can't be the Insta360 Go 2 because look how tiny it is. But it is third place. There are very few features in the GoPro Hero 4K, so it loses this category as well. Overall, out of these, the choice is the Hero 11 Mini. It's not that much heavier, you get used to it. It's got much more battery life than the DJI, better audio and file transfer capabilities than the Hero 4K, and the better audio of the DJI doesn't outweigh the reduced battery life of that camera. And as I've said, the battery life on the Insta360 Go 2 is so low that it's in its own category. It's not trying to compete with these. If I had a full-size GoPro Hero, I'd likely say the same thing about any of those, that you get accustomed to the weight and it's not a problem. So overall, I say the camera to use for bike mount and board mount surfing is an action camera with a form factor like the Hero 11 Mini or regular Hero model, but with in-camera stabilization and good file transfer. The weight is not that big of a deal. Get a camera with battery life and in-camera stabilization and you're away. The audio can differ between the cameras, but it's never going to be good enough to compete with the wind noise you'll have surfing anyway. So it'll never be good enough to outweigh other downsides. That's going to do it for this review. I hope this was helpful in some way. Let me know if you have one of these cameras and if you've ever surfed with them or not. If you haven't, how have you used them? Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.